Right, I think we're ready to start.
Yes, sir.
All right, I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out. Today we're here to highlight a grieving family, a movement to change Atlanta's approach to public safety, and community members who are illegally arrested in the Home Depot parking lot during a Stop Cop City rally. We're joined here today by attorneys from the Davis, Bozeman, and Johnson law firm and many others from many different organizations. We're going to have time after everyone speaks for questions from the press, but we ask that those questions come after everybody speaks. First up today is Mary Hooks, National Field Director for the Movement for Black Lives and a tireless voice for justice in our city.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Here we go again. Here we go again. And I say that with such a weariness in my spirit, because we've done this before. We've seen this before. We know the outcome of how this often happens, right? From the horrible murder of Johnny Hollman to the arresting of forest defenders while exercising their free speech. We continue to see an institution that is rotten to its core do what it's been trained to do. And while many of us over the last 60 or so days, give or take, have been out here in the sweat, in the heat, gathering signatures, contesting this city about spending $67 million on a police training facility, we must beg the question, are we going to continue to pretend that this is a training issue? This is not a training issue. We have an issue of racism. We have an issue of capitalism. We have an issue of people seeing our lives as disposable. And the fact that the folks who even, what was the guy who murdered Rayshard Brooks had 2,000 plus hours of training, de-escalation included, was also murdered. We cannot continue to pretend as if this thing is going to get better if we continue to invest our resources in institutions that do not serve us. You can look behind me. Johnny Hollman belonged to somebody. He belonged to a people, a community, a church family. He belonged to us as a people. And it's about time that we don't wait until this happens to someone in our family. We can't wait until somebody in our family gets arrested unjustly. We cannot wait until somebody in our family gets arrested, perhaps might even survive the police interaction, but then they die in the cells of Fulton County.
Exactly.
Enough is enough, y'all. And so for many of you who have watched us go on and on about stopping Cop City, this is your moment. This is your chance. Yeah? Because you don't have to do everything everybody else has done, but you must do something. And you don't have to have anything to do something. And this something on this day, this moment, this weekend, we need you to find us. We need you to come to our offices at 711 Catherine Street and sign this petition. That is an easy ask. That is an easy ask given the weight of grief that is sitting in this room. That is an easy ask. And so we need people to step up to the plate because, again, we've seen this over and over again. And if we want a future of Atlanta where this isn't the story of the day, then I need you to stand up and do something about it. And I need our politicians to be honest with us, to at least have a righteous analysis about what time it is. Because we are betraying our people if we continue to pretend as if training police, this thing is going to get better, y'all. This is bad governance at this point. And any other institution would have been closed, defunded, all the things with a track record the way we see it.
Easy.
And so I compel you again, make your way to 711 Catherine Street, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310. Every day, we're here every day, 11 to 8. Get here, sign this. Be a part of something bigger than yourselves because our politicians have proven they ain't gonna do it. We must do it. We must do it. Our families must organize, in which they have. We must do it, y'all. We belong to one another. And if we are ever to change the future of this city, we damn sure better start now.
Good afternoon. My name is Kamal Franklin, K-A-M-A-U, Franklin, F-R-A-N-K-L-I-N. The organization I'm with is called Community Movement Builders. We are here once again because the city of Atlanta, the mayor of Atlanta, the city council refuses to deal with this crooked police department. It's murderous police department. It's over-policing police department. They refuse to deal with it. And it leaves us, as the people here in Atlanta, to deal with it ourselves. We have to organize against these institutions which have no credibility in our community and in our streets. The fact that a simple traffic stop would lead to the killing, the murder of a father, a grandfather, shows that the city police is out of control. The fact that Mayor Dickens will not even stand up and deal with this issue shows that the city has lost its mind and has lost its bearings. And only the people of Atlanta can set that straight. So we will be here, not only gathering signatures and petitions, but we will do what we do best. We will be out in the streets. We'll be out in the streets protesting, organizing, petitioning. We'll be at the government's offices. We'll be at the police headquarters. We'll be everywhere we need to be to make sure that this issue does not get swept under the rug, that we do not again have a police officer that kills a citizen of Atlanta and then gets put back on the force. Those days are done. We have to be here for this community and for this family. So on August 24th at 5 p.m. at the Atlanta Police Department headquarters, we are calling a rally, a demonstration to start there and to march down to City Hall. We continue to demand justice. We continue to demand that people's rights are respected, that the family is heard. As folks have already said, that people are held accountable for the criminal act which was committed. And that the solutions are not more police. They are not a larger training center. They are finding alternatives to public safety where the police do not interact with our community, particularly for these simple issues. A simple issue led to the death of a grandfather. The mayor has to be held accountable. The city has to be held accountable. The city council has to be held accountable. And this community will do all of that starting August 24th at 5 p.m. in front of the Atlanta Police Department headquarters. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from attorney Mally Davis with the Davis, Bozeman, Johnson law firm. They are synonymous with justice. They have had the backs of community for decades and decades and decades, and so I know this family is in good legal hands, and after hearing Mary and Kamau, I know they're good community hands too. We got your back.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Mally Davis, M-A-W-U-L-I, Davis, D-A-V-I-S, and we are here. Unfortunately, my law partner, Francis Johnson, we're here for two issues. We were planning to be here to discuss the arrest of the Home Depot 2. Our firm, after hearing of the arrest of Lorraine Fontaine and of Taylor Jordan, wanted to volunteer our legal expertise to support the movement by supporting these two individuals who were arrested. And when we found out exactly how they were arrested, how they were handled, it was clear that this is an ongoing pattern, a part of Atlanta police culture, in even arresting them. And I want you all to hear from them and then Because part of it is that as long as we've been doing this, most people think that somehow a police officer falls out of the sky and the first thing he does is he commits a murder. No, what he starts with, he disrespects one of our young kings on the street. Then he talks crazy to one of our elders. Or then he arrests some of our protesters because they make us the them. You understand? And so we have to understand that this isn't just a murder happens. This is about a culture, and part of that culture is how you even treat those who will push back against the system, which is what Lorraine and Taylor were doing. When they finish, I want to point out one thing. I want to say this. Their civil rights were violated. These two. Their civil rights were violated when they were simply holding a sign. They were going where they were directed to go. They had left the Home Depot. They were on the sidewalk outside of the Home Depot when they were arrested. And so we got a problem with that, and we're going to defend that. But then it goes even further. And I want every organizing here to hear this and understand what their tactics are. This isn't a game for them. What this is about is absolute power and control over our bodies, our minds, and even our very spirits. And so what they did was they didn't take them straight to the police department to book them in, to take them over to Rice Street. They took them off to another location to interrogate them, to question them about some of y'all in this room. That's how they operate, and we're clear about it because we have been under attack since we landed on these shores. And so we're clear about this whole COINTELPRO operation that they use against communities, especially when you see diversity like this. It troubles them. And so that is a violation of their civil rights, to have been pulled out, interrogated, not Mirandized, and then taken and held overnight in what we know is a death trap of a jail. And with that, I'd like first to bring up one of our elders in this work that so many of us are proud to stand by. Every time I see her getting arrested, I know that we're in the right place. And so, Sister Lorraine,
Thank you.
thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lorraine Fontana. I'm the 76-year-old woman who was arrested with my brother, who's 50 years younger than me. He could be my grandson. And when I thought about that and read about Johnny Hollman having 26 grandchildren, it's hard to even say how I can relate to that. I can say this, as you've already heard, when we were arrested, we weren't even on the sidewalk near the store. We were in the parking lot where the grass area is, and we were just holding signs, try to catch the cars coming in so they would see our signs, the cars that were coming to park near Home Depot. And I remember when I first talked to somebody about it, I said we couldn't have been out of the car, grabbed our signs, got on for maybe 15, 20 seconds before the police were rushing. They were just waiting for anybody to come back after we left the store when they told us to. Everybody to come back toward the store. And as soon as they saw someone who had a sign, who they thought, oh, here are they, some more protesters, they rushed at us and just put the cuffs on. No questions. They didn't tell us we need to leave the parking lot. They didn't give us any instructions like that. And so you know the rest of the story. We got taken to this kind of interesting place behind some fast food places between Ponce and North, that they seemed to have a regular place where they went when they were at pause for some reason. And yeah, somebody came by, a couple people came to take my picture, and one guy, I guess it was a detective, wanted to talk, and I said, no, I'm not going to talk to anybody but an attorney. Now, the thing I really want to say is that, yes, this minor arrest, criminal trespass, so minor compared to what so many of the protesters in the past, the Stop Cop City people have been charged with, really serious crimes, okay? But this one was like, oh my God. So if I'm a little old white lady, I'm not protected from that. They'll do that to them too? Yes, they will. You're not protected because of your color, because of your age. Because if they see you as part of a movement they want to crush and destroy, they will use whatever they can, and they have. Other thing I wanted to say was, yes, being in the Rice Street, Fulton County Jail for one night was enough experience for me. I had been there before, yeah, I'd been arrested, civil disobedience stuff back when, so I knew the place. But what I saw that night, I was in a holding cell, not even in a regular cell, in a holding cell with, I counted, 22 other women in that cell. So there was not enough room to even sit on a couple of the metal benches across the sides. Never mind at night. It was overnight. Some of them been there 3 days in that cell. No place to sleep. They were sleeping. Some of them just went on the floor, dirty floor, to sleep. It's always cold in that place. The people that had been there a while have been given uniforms, and they were very short sleeve, light stuff, no shoes, flip-flops, and it was cold. So people were all trying to do the best they could, were huddling together. That would be the way to get some warmth. There's one toilet in the place with a sink that didn't work, so there was no way to get water if you needed water. While I was there, 2 times somebody came by to bring water. 2 times in the whole day, you could get some water to drink. There was no medical care being given. One woman, on the second day I was there, all of a sudden she just fell to the ground. She just bam. And we didn't know if she was alive or not. People would see, you had to bang on the cell door and yell for any attention because there was nobody nearby. There was no way to just call somebody. So people were ringing until somebody came, and we said, this woman needs some help, and they had to get us out of the cell. They brought some people in, took her out on and she was breathing, but we don't know what was happening to her. Anyway, I guess I can go on and on about the conditions there and the other things that happened. But those are women, many of them, that weren't going to get out like me in a day because I had a bail fund, paying for my bail and attorneys to help me get out. No, they're going to be there, and they are there, and who knows what else is happening. I know that Taylor has stories from the men's, jail, cell that he was in. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, please put your phone on silent, please. Thank you.
Yes, so I'm Taylor Jordan. I was arrested with Lorraine at the protest at Home Depot. The boycott is still ongoing. We are boycotting Home Depot until they divest from the Atlanta Police Foundation and remove Daniel Grider as the Home Depot from the Home Depot Foundation board. What do I have to say? We were arrested. We had our free speech rights violated. We, like she said, were taken to a McDonald's parking lot so that a detective could try to scare us into revealing information, but he picked the wrong people to do that. I was charged with criminal trespass within, like she said, seconds of getting out of the car. And I spent the night in Fulton County Jail on Rice Street. I witnessed conditions that were inhumane and disgusting. People had nowhere to sit. I was in there with 25 other men in the holding cell. They were sleeping, sitting on the toilet. sleeping in filth on the ground. I met multiple people there, both this time and previous times, who were facing additional charges beyond what they were detained for failure to appear because they were detained during their court days, so they couldn't appear. And so that's how they just keep this cycle going. But like she said, I always knew at least that I would get out. I knew that people who cared about me knew where I was. LaShawn Thompson did not have that privilege. He was eaten alive at that very same facility. And because of the brutal neglect that is a matter of routine there. Just last night, today, another person died before even getting their trial. Over a dozen people have died at the hands of Fulton County Jail last year. And the fact that people act like it's normal just shows how sick and corrupt this administration is. So my heart goes out to the Hollman family. I'll leave it to them to talk about that because you'll hear from them soon. But sadly, they are one of many families and communities affected by this state violence. I want to also uplift the name of Tortuguita, who was assassinated this year by the Georgia State Police for standing up for what they believed in. I want people to recognize that this regime does not respect any of the rights it claims to uphold. It doesn't matter how much privilege you have or how peaceful you are. It doesn't matter if you follow the law or not. Your family could be next. So police will never keep us safe. We keep us safe. And we do that by standing strong together and letting everyone know if you kill one of us, we will all be out there in the street until we get justice.
All right.
Thank you, Tim. Some people will wonder how what happened to them fits with what happened to this family, but it all runs together. What they would want us to do is to keep our oppression in silos. But when we open up those containers and open ourselves up to each other, then it becomes clear that this oppression that we are experiencing is impacting all of our lives. At this time, you have heard in the last 3 or 4 days from one of the rocks here of the family, this sister, who I told my wife last night, I was like, this sister is strong, is courageous, and is clear about what she wants for her family and for her father. I want you all, before she speaks, I want you to hear a little bit more about the deacon, about the husband. I'd like for his wife's granddaughter to just at least say a word so that you understand that what was taken, who was taken, was not just a father and a grandfather and a great-grandfather, but a husband as well. And then you'll also hear from his pastor. He was chairman of the deacon board. Come on, sister. Say your name for me.
Okay, how y'all doing? My name is Valencia Morris. I'm here on behalf of my grandmother and myself because Mr. Hollman was a grandfather to me. He had been in our family for 35 years since I was 1 year old. So that was like the only grandfather that I knew. He was a loving, kind, grandfather and husband to my grandmother and to me, my siblings, and also to our children as well. The night that we got the call about Johnny was devastating. We was told that he was waiting on help. Help didn't get there till like 2 to 3 hours. So for them to come and just take him like that, I mean, it's just something you just don't want to hear. I mean, we stand and hear this about everybody else, but never think that we will hear this happening to us. Mm-hmm. So I'm here on behalf of my family, standing with my aunts on this side to let them know that they're not alone and I am here. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Brett.
My name is Pastor Royce L. Tillman of what we call LSOG, and that's Lavish Stones of God Ministry. I'm going to be very brief a little bit because I don't want to turn it into a eulogy, which I've been holding back. I've really been holding back because every time somebody asks me, everybody been saying, and when I get started, I just get started about this passionate man of God. He was very passionate. When you hear about them saying his 26 grandkids or his family, Holloman, and I call him chairman. He's in my phone as chairman. We walked together. Anything we did totally together, because as a chairman, we was like any move I make, any move the church make, he was right there. We talked every day, every week. If we missed days, we always checked. But what I loved about him was that just like he loved his family, he loved his church family.
He did.
I mean, he loved every member.
Yes.
He had every member in his phone.
Yes.
He had every member name and number. And many times he would keep me posted on the membership. So he was such a loving man. He was very passionate. He was very, and I give you this, and like I said before, and I began to cry because you don't meet or work with people a lot of times, even in ministry, that really cares. Even in ministries, you got people that don't necessarily care. But when you find one like him that literally cares if you hurt, he cares if one of the members went to, got sick, he cared if they couldn't eat, he cared. He would oftentimes call me and I say, Chairman, we can't do it everything now. We can't pray over it. He was like, well, we just need to pray. Just stop right there and let's pray about it, man. But he had that much passion. So I want to leave that here because, like I said again, I'm reframing because I have to do the eulogy. So pray for me.
Yes, sir. Yes,
because, like I say, in this walk, I've had many deacons, only by about 3. When you say deacons, I always tell people, when you say deacons, I've been around a lot of deacons. But he was a chairman. Chairman is a little, it's a little different. Chairman walks with the pastor. And he leads with the pastor. So what LSOG lost on that tragic incident, we lost a lot.
Yes, sir.
We truly did.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Before I bring Big Sis up, we want to thank, and the family wants to thank the organizers, because I don't know that everybody understands that this movement building has been going on for many, many years. We've been doing civil rights law for a long time, before some folks that are now in the movement came into the movement, but we thank God for the continuity, for the continuation of as each murder happens, more people come forward, more people get engaged. The prayer that this family has was that there would be people that would stand with them. Who else to stand with them but the folks that have been doing the work over all of these years, right? So this isn't a new issue. This isn't a new crop of folks. These are the same people who have been fighting to end this so that this family wouldn't have to be here. But their voices are being minimized. Their voices are being written off as the radicals, as terrorists. But they're the ones trying to stop police terror. That's the irony of it. They're trying to stop terror, but they're being dubbed as terrorists. And that's scary. And that's fascist. And we got to call it what it is. Got to be clear. So we're grateful, this family is grateful for those organizers who stayed in the street, who stay in the courtroom, who stay down at the Capitol, letting folks know that our lives matter. That's right. And we are grateful for you all. So if we haven't said it publicly recently, we're saying it right now. Thank you all of you, everybody in this room.
Thank you.
I want to bring up Sister to say a few words, and then we are going to give the community make a request, some instructions, ask for y'all to show up. And then we'll make another announcement about something that'll happen on next Tuesday. Come on up.
My name is Anitra Hollman, Arnitra. Holloman, Hollman. What happened to my daddy? August the 10th. That Thursday night, we just got off Bible study. My daddy left my house. He blew his horn. He said, "Baby, I'll see you later. I love you." I said, "I love you too, Daddy. I'll see you." 20 minutes later, my daddy called and said, "Baby, somebody hit my truck." I said, "Daddy, you all right? Do you need me to come?" He said, "No." The next time I heard my daddy's voice,
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
I heard my daddy in distress. I heard my daddy tell him he couldn't breathe. I heard my daddy beg for help. I heard it. When I made it to see my daddy laugh, oh God, on this ground, I knew my daddy was gone. My first initial words were, "Y'all killed my daddy. Y'all took my daddy from me. Y'all killed my daddy." My daddy didn't move anymore. I knew it. I felt it in my spirit, and I saw it. I'm having to live with this pain every single day. Me and my siblings, me and my family. My daddy shouldn't have died like that. How do you die on a minor traffic incident that he called the police on? No, he called them to help him. Now he ends up dead a few feet from his door. He was going home. He was going home. How this happened? That's my best friend, and I don't have no answers. Nobody's not telling me nothing, but you took what I love. You took something away from us that we can't get back, and that hurts. My children are hurting. My baby is hurting. He's supposed to be leaving for drill this weekend. My daddy was supposed to be going down the road to enjoy this weekend with my son. How our children don't know what to do. They don't know how to go on without their grandfather. We need answers. We need help. We're crying out to the community. We're crying out to the police department. We need to talk to somebody, the mayor, somebody, tell us something. We need that. We need that because they took something from us that they cannot give back. Y'all took my best friend, my daddy. Oh, God.
What Ms. Hollman was referring to is that her son, who's in the Army, was preparing to take his grandfather with him to meet his superiors. And this weekend, and he won't be able to do that. He won't be able to do that. So we are, again, we're grateful that we are flanked by community organizers, and you heard the call. I'd like for Sister Shar to make clear what we're asking people to, where we're asking people to be, what we're asking people to do, and then we'll close out and take a few questions.
Afternoon. My name is Shar Bates, spelled S-H-A-R, last name B-A-T-E-S. I've been out here a long time, y'all. As a matter of fact, I'm only here because me raising questions of what I've seen as media, as a radio show host, was happening in the streets, wasn't the same thing that I was seeing on the news. And when I questioned it, I got offered a better job if I would not talk about what's going on with them right here. So that did nothing but pique my interest. And I literally dove into activism. As an activist, we're tired. Not only are we tired for fighting for our people, we're also tired of being targeted just for fighting for your people. It's no reason. It is a culture that anything outside of yes sir, no sir is disrespect. We are not your children. That's right. We pay you. Our tax dollars pay you. Yet you talk to us like you are our superior. That's right. Mr. Hollman said many times, you gonna do an old man like this? Because 23-year-old Kieran Kimbrough didn't see any respect for his elder. Because that is the culture. Being a police officer is the only occupation in the world where you're able to be the juror, the jury, the judge, the executioner. You get to do everything. Not even the president can shoot somebody and already know in his mind he's going to get away with it. And we're tired. Not only can we not trust y'all to just do a simple arrest, we can't even trust y'all when we go to jail or if we gonna go to jail. Like Mawali said, this is nothing new. In 2020, when we were getting arrested, if you were a leader, you were charged differently and taken to a different place than regular concerned citizens. We are tired. I have seen my name on lists. I talk about already writing my biography because I know what happens if I elevate, and that is the bare truth. We tired. We're tired. It gotta be some type of checks and balance. So please, before it's somebody that you know personally, somebody that you were supposed to meet up, somebody you normally talk to on your way to work, somebody that normally pick up your kids if you need them, your pastor, anybody, falls to the same victimship that they have. So if you feel an ounce of empathy, please, we begging you to help us, help y'all, help us, and meet us at APD headquarters. I'm tired of playing games. We got to go straight to them because they want us to fear them so bad we don't question nothing. That era is over. It's no longer just a black issue. This is a classism issue, a civil rights issue, and a human rights issue. Where's the United Nations about what's going on here? We do not have the right to tell anybody else what they should be doing in their country. Take care of home. And everybody here at home, not just in Atlanta, y'all need to meet us next Thursday, August 24th at 5 p.m., 226 Peachtree Street Southwest. Next Thursday, APD headquarters, meet us there, beat us there, have signs, be ready to speak your mind.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. We're about to close out, but I want someone who, I love dearly and has been working for a long time. I've just watched her continue to grow as a policy leader, as an organizer, to give us information about the work that's being done. She's been working with the United Nations as well. She's working with the Department of Justice, trying to amplify what brothers and sisters have been doing in the street. And Sister Tiffany Williams-Roberts from the Southern Center for Human Rights.
My name is Tiffany Roberts. I am the Public Policy Director at the Southern Center for Human Rights. We are a nonprofit law firm committed to decriminalizing race and poverty in America's Deep South. As Mallory mentioned, we have alerted international and national authorities that Atlanta is in violations of several bodies of law, including international law, related to political repression, related to torture, related to the abuse of the criminal legal system, related to police abuse. And to that end, tomorrow we will be holding a session at the King Center where many of the families who are represented here will be addressing our policymakers about ending state violence, not through tasers, not through body cameras, right? Not through means that give money to the police. What we know is that the people of Atlanta are suffering. We have the highest wealth inequality in the country. Okay, we have more people under correctional control than any other state in the country. And so tomorrow, the Department of Justice will be present at this event to collect complaints about the pattern or practices of abuse in the Fulton County Jail. We also believe that the Department of Justice needs to be independently investigating the Atlanta Police Department, not because we believe that they will solve our problems, but someone has got to bear witness and make it plain. So tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the King Center, people from our constituency in the city of Atlanta can come and share these stories that Taylor and Lorraine have shared are just two of hundreds, if not thousands. Mayor Andre Dickens, Sheriff Patrick Labatt, and our Chief of Police are routinely repressing and abusing the people of Atlanta. And what we have shown them is we are not taking it anymore. Mayor Dickens likes to say that he is a deacon. A deacon is a caretaker. A deacon is accountable. A deacon is a leader, right? It is a clarion voice. It does not create harm. And so the deacon's police force has killed a deacon and a grandfather of 26. They must be held accountable, and it's our job to make sure that the floor always remains open for us to tell our own stories. And so to the family, I want to say that we are with you. Not for the short term and not for the cameras. We are with you because our liberation depends on your liberation. And to the community, I would like to say, to support this petition, why must Atlanta continue to look at buildings? The building is, with Cobb City, they say it's the solution, even though their officers receive more training than most officers in the country. Right? With the jail, they say a new jail is the solution. Well, buildings don't deny water. Buildings do not deny food. Buildings do not fail to administer aid, to administer medication. This is a people problem, and we have a city hall and a sheriff's office that is engaging in fascism against its own people, and the world needs to bear witness. Thank you.
We will take just a couple of questions that we can answer on. We have received some video that we're going through, and we believe that by Tuesday, we'll be able to release some video that we have been able to review so the world can see what this family saw when they experienced what they've experienced. So we are hopeful that by Tuesday that will happen. If you all can make sure that you provide Brother France and Brother Tim your contact information when that's released, you'll receive whatever's released. Yes?
Early this morning, we heard reports that there was another death in the Fulton County Jail. Do we have any more information about that?
What we know is that the person who died in the Fulton County Jail was being held on a $5,000 bail for shoplifting, an amount for goods worth less than $500. We know that his attorney asked for a signature bond because he had congestive heart failure, and that signature bond, meaning he would have been able to sign himself out and just come to court, that was denied by the judge. And instead, a $5,000 bond for someone who shoplifted less than $500 was issued, and he died and was found unresponsive, but we don't know much more beyond that.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis, just two quick questions. One,
Yes.
what did you guys learn about what happened? Because today's 1 week since this happened. What did you guys learn this year? And the second thing is, I know you're not ready to physically show us the video, but from what you've seen, is this coming from a witness? Is it body camera? What can you tell us?
So we have not, and again, we will submit a formal request on Monday for to see body cam footage. We know that is possible, right? And we know that that is what most cities are doing now, is that they will bring the family in to allow them to see body cam footage. So we're making that request, and that should happen. What we have viewed is some of the aftermath, and it's, to be quite frank with you, it's shocking. It's sobering to see a man in an Atlanta street just, be out. And it's just really something that we think the rest of the community, and we're just trying to go through everything that we have and make sure that we've reviewed it in its entirety. But that's just taking a little longer than we thought before we could release it today.
When you say the aftermath, you're saying after he was already on the...
Yes, we do not have, correct. We do not have anything that captures the actual, what the officer did to him. We have these hearing witnesses, right? Maybe not eyewitnesses, but they're witnesses who heard him asking, calling for help, saying he couldn't breathe, and whatever was happening was continuing to happen, which we believe led to his death.
Has the family heard from APD or GBI since?
Yes, there's been a communication with GBI, not with APD. There's been communication with the mayor's office as well.
For the first of the Hollman family, we're with you, we love you, and we're so sorry. Tiffany, have you heard any plans from the sheriff's office around how people who are currently incarcerated in the facility are going to be impacted potentially by the booking of former President Trump? Will that impact people's ability to see their lawyers, be released, visitation, any of those issues? Has any of that communication been provided by the commissioners or by the sheriff's office?
Not to my knowledge, but I will say that we know that the Department of Justice started their site visits, their first set of site visits at that facility yesterday. And my understanding is that they will continue through the weekend, but we don't have any information about any other accommodations because of the former president's arrest.
All right. Again, we thank you all for taking your time this afternoon, and Shar Bates, Kamal, Mary, Tim, all of the folks that are here, ask you all, this family asked the community to come out on next Thursday at 5 p.m. Because it has to stop. Thank you all. God bless you. Peace and blessings.